Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Elizabeth Omori. President Bola Tinubu alongside other African leaders are in Accra, Ghana for the 6th midterm African Union meeting. Educate an African fit for the 21st century is the theme of the meeting. Musa Babali brings us details.
This high-level gathering of African leaders is taking place in Accra, Ghana. The media coordinating meeting, established in 2017, is part of the AU's institutional reforms aimed at ensuring effective collaboration between various African bodies. This year's summit is coming at a critical juncture for Africa as the continent continues to push for greater economic and political cooperation among its nations and international partners. Key items on the agenda include addressing the status of regional integration in Africa, evaluating the AU's early warning and conflict prevention mechanisms, and promoting cooperation among regional economic communities to accelerate integration.
The draft budget for 2025, which has been submitted and has been minutiously prepared by the Commission with all its skills and those who have contributed to it. The level of statutory contribution to the budget, which has been capped to $200 million American dollars, taken into account the pressures that are exerted on most of our member states.
Earlier, ministers of foreign affairs from the member countries held a meeting setting agenda for the African leaders. Ambassador Yusuf Tuga of Nigeria was also in attendance.
I wish to use this opportunity to urge member states to strengthen their commitment to the secretariat, as it has the potential to strongly shape the future of the continent, strengthen its position in the global market, uplift the lives of its people, and accelerate the sustainable growth and development of the continent.
Development partners, including the President of the African Development Bank and the United Nations, are expected to make presentations at the meeting. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu extends his condolences to the government and people of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam over the passing of General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong. He was the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam as head of the Party Bureau and Central Military Commission. He was the leader of Vietnam who also served as president from 2018 to 2021. The president also commiserates with the widow of the late Vietnamese leader, expressing his profound sympathy over the loss and noting the huge influence and efforts of the deceased leader in shaping Vietnam. President Tinubu shows the people of Vietnam of Nigeria's solidarity at this time of grief. Now, President Tinubu states federal government's resolve to create more opportunities, diversify Nigeria's economy as part of efforts to ensure food security and stimulate economic growth across the country. This was at the launch of a multi-billion naira agricultural empowerment program in Damaturu. Unista Sulaiman brings us details.
The Edo State Mega Agricultural Empowerment Program is a deliberate initiative by the state government to improve agricultural practices in the state to add value to the life of the citizenry in food security and national strategic food sufficiency agenda. Flagging off the scheme, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, says Yobe State revolution in agriculture is in line with his administration's resolve to transform the sector and the more reason for the creation of the Ministry of Livestock Development.
Every intervention to boost agriculture plays a crucial role in the local economy. The aim of an initiative like this transcends food security. It opens new avenues for employment, particularly for our youth and women, who are the backbone of our rural communities. Government will not tolerate any act of sabotage to frustrate our commitments to make agriculture attractive, profitable, sustainable, and economically viable, and to guarantee food sufficiency and food security in the state.
The launching of the Agricultural Empowerment Program, the first of its kind, also saw the President approving Yobe State's request for additional resources to support its agricultural transformation drive. More than 19 billion naira was expended to procure farming inputs, with about 6,000 beneficiaries being targeted in the 178 political wards across the 70 local government areas of the state. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Now to governance, the Chairman Senate Committee on Privatization and former Governor of Abuja State, Senator Oji Uzor Kalu, is advocating part-time legislature at both federal and state levels. He says this would help the nation cut costs and ensure that the citizens' trust in the polity is attained. Senator Kalu notes that this is a good idea if his colleagues and other members of the Houses of Assembly will agree to sit for 3 months and do constitutional amendment first and sit when there is an emergency or come to do a presidential bid and go back instead of sitting full-time. He says it will be part of austerity measures to reduce cost of governance, arguing that regional government is another viable alternative, which means that ministers will also operate in the same way. Now, in Edo State, government has finalized plans to train and engage youths in agriculture for food sufficiency in the state. Commissioner for Agriculture, Professor Beke Sese, stated this when management of NTA paid him a visit in his office in Yenegua. Doris Akumoye reports.
In view of the alarming rates of cost of food and commodities in the country, intense farming of food crops, livestock and fishery is what is generally expected in the country. To this end, the Edo State Ministry of Agriculture says it has repositioned its agricultural programs to gainfully engage the youth in farming as business. Commissioner for Agriculture acknowledged the contributions of NTA in propagating accurate information, promised to work with the station to achieve this vision.
Everybody in the means of agriculture, we are poised to actualize the dreams, the vision, the aspiration of His Excellency, to ensure that there is food security in boost agricultural production in this state. So if you are associated with NTA, you are associated with a giant brand.
General Manager NTA Yenegua Dauju White congratulated the Commissioner for his appointment, said with the prevailing economic realities globally, there is need to develop the sector to provide food, employment, raw materials for industry, foreign exchange and livestock sustenance.
I strongly believe that with your wealth of experience, if you push for your ministry to provide modern agricultural machinery and encourage private agricultural practices, the states can increase production that will not only empower the farmers financially, but will make food available at moderate cost as against the prevailing situation.
The bond between NTA and Ministry of Agriculture is expected to inform Nigerians on opportunities and efforts of governments towards alleviating their food needs. In Yenegoa, Doris Akumoye, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Renewed Hope initiative is encouraging backyard farming to complement government's efforts towards food sufficiency. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is in the forefront of encouraging women to cultivate and nurture their own food at the back of their homes. Usman Abdullahi Shehu finds out how women in Birnin Kebbi are embracing this program.
Backyard farming provides numerous benefits for farmers, especially women. These include fresh complementary food supply, stress relief, physical activity, and a sense of accomplishment, as well as way to connect with nature and community. Some farmers who are into backyard activities says it can even be a good source of income.
Apart from my backyard garden, I used to cultivate sesame seed, rice, and millet every year. We are farmers, we know the benefit of farming and will continue to farm for food and business.
Hajiya Ralia Abubakar, who is the chairperson of Women Farmers Association, described her backyard as her happy place where she grows herbs, vegetables and fruits.
The old narrative is gradually changing. Women are now mobilizing to farm and we are receiving more attention.
She described women farming, especially backyard activity, as one of the pillars that bond family if encouraged to participate. She's also in the forefront of encouraging other women to develop their own garden, especially in the face of the current food crunch. Brunin Kebi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
To climate matters, humanity now has 4 years to prevent a 1.5 degrees Celsius rise in global warming, with the global climate clock countdown tracking the deadline for nations to stay in check. In Abuja, awareness is on ahead of the Climate Emergency Day as nations race against time to beat the clock. Charles Alpha tells us more.
22nd of July 2024 will mark the clock ticking over at 5 o'clock in the evening as Nigeria joins climate clock groups across the globe to mark the third annual Climate Emergency Day in a direct call on leaders to act in time and prevent the 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming. In Nigeria, a group of climate advocates on the march are demanding an increase in budget allocation for climate change.
Basically, what that means is that we have less than 4 years to avoid the catastrophic impact of climate change, where we have limited time to change what is already happening.
We are saying fossil fuel is harmful to the environment, to the planet, and we are saying the right part of the face, which is clean energy, which is clean. So we are saying the government should invest more in renewable energy.
We are here to demand that more women should be represented. Even in the international climate discourse, we have less than 35% of women.
The call for this year's Climate Emergency Day 2024 is focused specifically on divestment from fossil fuels and investment in a collective future, with fossil fuels accounting for over 75% of greenhouse gas emissions and 90% of carbon dioxide emissions, trapping the sun's heat. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
To flood mitigation, Sokoto State is one of the states that has been identified with a high risk of experiencing flooding by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency Seasonal Climate Prediction. In this report, Dalhatu Abdullahi takes a look at the poor management of drainage system and how it can aid flooding.
As rainy season fully sets in, Nigerian Meteorological Agency NAMET has predicted that heavy downpour will lead to flooding in some states in the country. According to the prediction, Sokoto State is one of the states in the federation that is at the risk of experiencing flood. This prediction is a cause for concern as flooding can cause significant damage to property and infrastructure as well as loss of lives. However, dumping refuse in waterways and drainage system have become a common practice in Sokoto metropolis, with most of the drainage systems left unevacuated and clogged with refuse, making it difficult for free flow of running water.
And you know the consequences of flood. It does a lot of destruction. There are instances where infrastructure could even break down and which could lead to death of either individuals or their animals, or if none of that happens, you find that the infrastructures will break down. So in order to do that, people have to be extra careful and make sure they remove anything else which could lead to blockages of drainages. Government should, put one of the mechanisms, be it positive or negative mechanisms, to deal with defaulters, as it were, so that maybe some people wake up to their responsibilities.
In the meantime, Sokoto State government has set up the 2024 Flood Control Committee, saddled with responsibility of studying the report by Flood Early Warning Center, Abuja, as it affects Sokoto State. It is also expected to carry out tour to the affected local government areas prone to flooding and visitations of sites expected to be main sources of flooding, and advise government on how best to avert flooding or mitigate its effects. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time to head to Lagos, where Adeola is standing by for some reports.
you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Lagos. The National Mathematical Center, NMC, is encouraging more students to develop interest in learning how to solve mathematics through a creative and entertaining approach. Diana Ajale, who was at the closing ceremony of a 10-day mental arithmetic training on how to use abacus tool while calculating mathematics with ease, reports that 60 teachers drawn from across various local governments of Lagos State benefited from the first phase of the ongoing nationwide abacus training by the agency.
I need 10. I'll remove 9 and bring 10.
Eunice Aniche there, demonstrating knowledge gained from the 10-day mental arithmetic training on how to use abacus tool in solving mathematics without stress. Although solving mathematics has over the years remained a major challenge for many students, making it unattractive. That will soon be a thing of the past with the introduction of the Chinese abacus tools.
We were taught how to push the abacus to represent numbers, how to do basic calculations.
What this program does is to help to enhance the two-hand system, which is the abacus system, that helps to generate synapses in both sides of the brain.
This groundbreaking initiative by the National Mathematical Center, Director and Chief Executive said, seeks to change the perception and phobia among many pupils and students.
There is nothing like you have to press calculator and all that, no. And it makes you to think very fast. If you understand mathematics, of course, there is nothing that you cannot reduce to the minimum.
Upcoming children, they need to have this at the tip of their hands. This should not be their own, for their own personal consumption alone. They need to get out there, cascade this training, let others know what has happened in the training.
Brain activation and concentration building, speed and accuracy in calculation, holistic skill development, and many more are some of the benefits of using the abacus tool. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Enhancing educational growth in Nigeria to the lofty height of contributing to economic development requires not just increasing accessibility and affordability, but embracing networking that will allow for incorporating new trends. This view was shared by an international organization, Professors Without Borders, at the completion of a 5-day training program in Lagos. Adejoke Odeka reports that the certification exercise attracted participants from the academia, both home and abroad.
Professors Without Borders, ProWibo, is a mentorship program consisting of students and professors recommended by the deans of various universities. This year's edition is special not just because it signals the conclusion of 3 years of activities hosted by Nigeria, but X-rayed contemporary issues and the country's educational experience.
Here in Nigeria, we've had to train the first time 80 students and then 30 lecturers.
One common trait of people who are entrepreneurial is how they interpret failure, and people who are really successful entrepreneurs don't quit.
Train them on skills that are non-conventional, none on the school curriculum.
The Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Ayodele Asenua, stressed the importance of taking advantage of the benefits that come with the training.
It's been life-transforming in terms of equipping with knowledge and skills that enable people to do their work.
It has brought a lot of significance, a lot of impact.
I got the skills now to market myself and market other professors.
It taught me responsibility and it taught me how to be innovative.
With the theme Beyond Boundaries, Modern Skills for Educators and Learners, participants say they are better informed in shaping the future of e-learning in Nigeria. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Chineye in Enugu Network Center after this break. Please stay with us.
Thanks for joining us. We will be joining our Enugu Network Center as we progress. But moving on, 58 Nigerian women and children have been rescued from human traffickers, bringing the total number of rescued Nigerians in Accra in the last 3 months to 105. Chairman Edo Board of Trustees in Ghana, Callistus Eliziuwa, disclosed to Chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Ewa, during a stopover visit on the trafficked victims at the location in Accra. The Commission's head of media and public relations, Abdurrahman Balogun, in a statement, gave the breakdown. Kano 47, Katsina 5, Jigawa 2 and Kaduna 4, adding that 11 more girls earlier rescued in care of Nido Board Chairman and Acting Nigerian High Commissioner in Ghana, Ambassador Ifedayo Adeoye, have also been returned to Nigeria. The statement adds that some of the suspected agents have been apprehended and handed over to security agencies and NAPTIP for necessary profiling and prosecution. The rescued women and girls are on their way back to Nigeria, where they will be properly profiled and counseled by NAPTIP, rehabilitated by their various state governments and reunited with their families. Let's now join Obey in Benin for more reports. Nice to see you, Obey. Welcome to Benin. A new Nigeria is possible with the support of the citizenry to the political will of government. This was Governor Godwin Obaseki's remark as he recounted his administration's achievements and experiences in various sectors of the state economy in the last 8 years at the state banquet for dignitaries held at Government House. Good luck in 90 reports.
The state banquet is in honor of visiting dignitaries from the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, government functionaries, and foreign partners. Governor Obaseki used the opportunity to highlight some achievement of his administration to include discouraging illegal migration and human trafficking, improve security, and promoting the ease of doing business in the state.
If Edo State, from where we are coming from in 2016, can be where we are today, the future of Nigeria is unthinkable.
Chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, and DG NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by his vice, High Chief Tony Akiotu, Chief of Mission, International Organization of Migration, Laureate D. Birch, and Consul General Dutch Embassy, Michael De Link, all commended the state government laudable achievements.
History will record the tenure of Godwin Nusahario Obaseki in positive light, and he will be remembered for the giant strides that recorded during his tenure of office as governor of Edo State.
There was presentation of gifts and awards from BON on the occasion of its 79th meeting and from the international community of Dutch and the UK to the governor. In Benin, good luck in NTA News.
A maternity home suspected to be a baby factory has been uncovered in Agbo Hills in Benin City. This was made possible following a raid by security operatives in the state. Wife of Edo State Governor Betsy Obaseki made this known while briefing journalists in Benin City. Again, good luck in 90 reports.
The alleged baby factory is said to be operated by a 48-year-old Rachel Osagede in Benin City. Part of her duty, as alleged, is to put the pregnant girls who are aged between 15 and 26 in her custody upon arrival. It was also alleged that the girls, who are mainly from the eastern part of the country, were brought to her by one Mama Harriet, who is now at large, to assist in keeping the girls until they are delivered of their babies, which are later sold to their clients. However, luck ran out of them when the facility was raided by the security operatives following a tip-off. Some hospital equipment were found in the possession of the suspect, who claimed to be a nurse at the time of her arrest.
I deliver baby.
For how long have you been into this business of delivery?
25 years ago, I've been working in hospital ever since.
Are you a certified nurse?
I went to school of nursing, but I could not finish.
17 years SS1 student Blessing Udu from Imo State and a 26-year-old Gift Harrison from Port Harcourt were among the victims.
My sister was I will stay there till I deliver my baby. She will come and carry me.
The governor's wife and some government functionaries are saddened by this development.
Young girls are raped and put in a family, made pregnant against their wishes. Their lives are destroyed. Some die in the process of having the babies, like one did a few days ago in this woman's care. This whole thing is a gender-based violence matter. God, we will not tolerate it.
She wants parents and the society to join the state government in combating the menace. The suspect is to be handed over to the police for further investigations. In Benin, good luck in NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Watch, obey. Let's talk drug interception. Drug consignments hidden in ladies' wears and other prohibited substances have been seized in Lagos at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Salwat Khalid Ibrahim brings us details.
It was a busy week for anti-narcotic men at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. First, a businessman was on Thursday, 18th July, arrested at his Lagos residence after a consignment of 40 parcels of loud hidden in packs of chessboards, Scrabbles, checkers, and poker sets brought in from Canada was intercepted at the Sako import shed of the Lagos airport during a joint examination of the cargo with men of the Customs Service. In the same vein, NDLEA operatives at the Sako export shed of the airport on Friday, 19th July, intercepted 2 jumbo bags going to Pakistan. The bags contained food items which were used to conceal 4 parcels of cocaine and 14 parcels of loud. Further investigation led to the arrest of a businesswoman in connection with the seizure. Also at the Lagos airport, NDLEA operative on Thursday, 18th July, intercepted a male Beninese passenger traveling with a bag containing some female native dresses. The suspect was going to Dubai via Accra, Ghana. Thorough search of the bag revealed 8 parcels of loud concealed in the lady's native wares. Meanwhile, a 48-year-old person with disability, male, was arrested by NDLEA operatives in his house at Yawuri town, Kebbi State, with 6 bags of cannabis on Tuesday, 16th July. In Abuja, 2 suspects were arrested by NDLEA operatives on Monday, 15th July, with 30 kilograms of the same psychoactive substance along Kwali-Gwagwalada Abuja Expressway on their way from Lagos to Nasarawa State. They claim to be supplying illegal miners operating in the area. Equally, in Plateau State, a raid on the storehouse of a notorious drug dealer who is currently at large at Rukuba Road, Jos, led to the recovery of 34 bags of cannabis while his manager was arrested. Operations that led to different discoveries were carried out in Osun, Jigawa, Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, and Ondo states. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Away from drug interception, the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission in Hyperdeck says it has trained more than 6,000 youths across the country in 35 skills to enable them become self-reliant and employers of labor. Director General of the Commission, Sadiq Yelwa, represented by the Director Engineering, Dr. Ipatlikia Daniel, disclosed this during the Youth Transformation Program and Stakeholders Meeting at the Federal Secretariat, Makurdi, Benue State. Charles Abba reports.
The essence of the meeting is for stakeholders in the Youth Transformation Program, anchored by the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission and Hyperdeck, to deliberate on how best to distribute starter packs to over 545 Benue youths, trained alongside the over 6,000 others late last year.
A lot of them, after the training, they went back to their respective houses or their respective homes. The zeal and the passion, or what they got from the training, actually left some of them.
Director General of the Commission, represented by the Director Engineering, Dr. Daniel Ipilakia explained that the beneficiaries were carefully selected and that apart from the skills acquisition program, the Commission also paid examination fees for 1,500 final year students during the year.
There was a monthly monitoring exercise of the training to evaluate progress of the program. As the candidates for this program were in training, our staff were undertaking a monitoring program across to make sure that all the participants were well trained.
The most important thing here is to tell you that we are working hard to make sure that the graduation we promised and the starter packs we promised to give the youths or the trainees is on process.
At the end of this, I'm going to get an official report across His Excellency to know how far we have gone on this.
The starter packs are expected to be given to the trainees in August 2024. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And the Benue State government is engaging humanitarian organizations towards finding lasting solutions to crisis in their state. Governor Hyacinth Alia stated this when he received a delegation from the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue for a discourse on peace.
Benue, like many other states, has suffered different forms of crisis, including communal clashes and banditry attacks. The initiative being championed by the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue is to mediate peace processes amongst communities affected by conflicts.
Using networks and partnership built over many years, we engage in creativity at international, interstate, and local level with activities that includes 1. Making contact with conflict actors and others, where others cannot reach, building trust and dialogue between conflict parties, brokering negotiations, ceasefires and peace accords, supporting humanitarian and health efforts in high-risk areas.
This holistic approach aims to create a stable and prosperous environment for all our citizens. And as a testament to our commitment to peace, the Benue Commission for Peace and Reconciliation was one of the agencies retained from the previous administration by maintaining its leadership to ensure continuity in our peace initiatives and demonstrate our openness to sustainable discussions and collaborative efforts.
He maintained that the peace initiative will go a long way to ensure the return of internally displaced persons to their ancestral homes and improved livelihoods. In Makudi, Elias, HF, NTA News.
Let's take another break. The news continues shortly. Thanks for staying with us. With a recent Supreme Court verdict which returns financial autonomy to the third tier of government, the local government councils say priority attention will be given to healthcare services among other social amenities. At the meeting of all local government councils in Nigeria, the association believes the autonomy will enhance good governance at the grassroots. Ali Tijani reports.
Basking in the euphoria of the Supreme Court judgment that returns financial autonomy to local government, the national executives of the Association of All Local Government Councils in Nigeria, ALGON, converge on Lafia, Nasarawa State, to discuss the future of governance at the grassroots and how the association will leverage the judgment to fast-track development. ALGON says, in addition to improving infrastructure at the grassroots, welfare of rural dwellers and youth corps members deployed to the hinterland will be given topmost priority.
And we want to assure the people of Nigeria, most especially the issue of primary healthcare facilities, the issue of provision of basic education, and other statutory responsibilities on local government councils. We will make sure that we attend religiously to our constitutional responsibilities.
All local government councils in Nigeria commend President Bola Tinubu and the Supreme Court for restoring lost glory of the local government in the country. And this, Algon says, it will not take it for granted. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
More commercial vehicles will soon run on compressed natural gas in Lagos. About 150 drivers have been presented with the conversion kits. This initiative of the federal government aims to alleviate economic challenges, and the national coordinator of the presidential CNG initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, says 30,000 vehicles nationwide will be covered within 90 days. Michael Olale brings us details.
A real scenario for commercial drivers to abandon the wheels, unifying their purpose for a common cause. Here, the dotted lines were not just signed with the conversion companies, but some commercial bus drivers were presented with CNG keys to be installed in their vehicles. The beauty of this is that the federal government will not only shoulder the entire fee put at 1.2 million naira per vehicle, but key players here say this will crash the operational costs for drivers who will only need 250 naira per kilogram for compressed gas, as against more than 600 naira per litre of petrol.
CNG is cheaper, is cleaner, is safer, and is more reliable. 40% less tailpipe emission, 90% yes monoton put in the head. So definitely there's an advantage to using CNG for the environment. We are already flaring gas. So what we are saying is that instead of flaring gas, we should turn that gas to use of our economy.
This commercial vehicle should come down. And if it's come down, it will affect all the sectors of the economy.
The presidential CNG initiative says 30,000 commercial buses will be covered nationwide within 90 days. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
The nationwide onslaught of the federal government against illegal mining is getting more aggressive as several suspects allegedly involved in illegal mining of gold in Yagba East local government area of Kogi State were dislodged. Mie Ogidi brings us details.
Moving to dare the lords of the forest. Keep moving despite being surrounded by the thick forest, because it is a national assignment and it has to be delivered, even risking one's life. Crossing rivers and land, pushing for a dreaded journey to Iye, Udogbe and inside the communities in Yagba local government area of Kogi State to put an end to illegal mining activities. Mining marshals, a detachment of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, courtesy Minister Dele Alake-led Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, finally had the enemy's camp as it were, a land left to its own device, the best of its nutrient and mineral resources taken away without even a kobo paid to the federal government coffers as royalties, and these are the culprits. Good enough, they realized the sabotage they have caused the nation and pleaded for forgiveness. The Civil Defense Corps officials were quite civil.
Some of them, they are already cooking food. You have to allow it to done and eat. So I'm thinking we should give them 3 days.
Some sense of repentance on the faces of the culprit. But how sincere are these signs? And if they fail to evacuate, what will be the next action? Because a similar operation was carried out recently by the mining marshal in Abia State, leading to the arrest of 8 Chinese nationals and 1 Nigerian. And trial of the suspects had commenced at the Federal High Court, Abuja Division. For those given the 5 days, the choice is theirs to either go home or go to court. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Now, to foster synergy and teamwork among its agencies, the Federal Ministry of Education has unveiled a mascot for the Federal Education Sector Games. Zinrat Dingmon reports.
Aside its health benefits, the minister highlights sports as a powerful tool for unity, hence the need to translate it into day-to-day activities of the ministry to achieve excellence in the sector and also promote national development.
Sport encourages academic performance. It also builds the culture of leadership. It allowed and fertilized teamwork, and it also prepares you as a sportsman so that you can accept the circumstances of whatever condition you find yourself with.
More than just a symbol, this mascot embodies unity, determination, and a commitment to excellence. Ideals we aim to inspire in all participants.
The event also saw the conferment of prestigious roles on key officials, the Minister of Education as Grand Patron, Minister of State as Deputy Grand Patron, Permanent Secretary as First Patron, and heads of agencies as patrons for the FEDIGOM 2024. As the ministry gears up for the Games, the spirit of teamwork is expected to score goals for a brighter future for Nigerian youths. Earlier, in a heartwarming moment, the ministers and ministry's management congratulated the Permanent Secretary, Didi Wilson-Jack, on her appointment as head of service by President Bola Tinubu. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
In other news, in response to the escalating food crisis affecting the country, the federal government has been consistent in providing food items to assist vulnerable population in Benue State. Pauline Kujevana conducted an analysis of previous distributions, obtaining insight from key figures involved in the process ahead of the distribution of the 20 truckload of rice recently received from the federal government.
This initiative of palliative distribution by federal government is helping to alleviate hunger and provide support to those severely impacted by the insurgency and other vulnerable people in Benue State. The federal government has recently provided 20 truckloads of rice across all states of the federation, aimed at alleviating hunger caused by economic hardship.
The number of the vulnerable is on a high because of the insecurity and the crisis that we've had for almost 14 years. And the state government also supported 16,000 women with wrappers and 10,000 naira cash.
None of our distribution is not being supervised by His Excellency the Executive Governor. When we go for this distribution, this is the total quantity of the items that to be distributed, and so in that, so certain percentage or ratio will go to certain population.
Next few days, we are getting the state consignment under Professor Babagana Umar Zulum and commence immediate distribution.
Meanwhile, Benue State government is committed to providing supplementary palliatives to boost the impact of federal government assistance and address any gap. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Talking sports, few days to the Paris Olympics, Nigerian sprint star Toby Amuson caps off a good outing at the Holloway Pro Classic in Florida, USA, finishing second. Details with Sulaiman Musa on Sports Updates.
We begin with tennis. The president of the Nigerian Tennis Federation, Ifeda Akindoju, has commended Team Nigeria for securing promotion to Davis Cup World Group 2 after defeating Ghana in the first two rubbers at the ongoing Group 3 Africa Qualifier event at the Tennis Center Court of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The Nigerian pair of Christopher Bulus and Michael Emmanuel defeated Ghana, with Bulus securing the first win with a 6-3-6-2 win before Emmanuel finished the second rubber with the same results. Meanwhile, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire will be relegated to Group 4, while Benin Republic will remain in Africa Group 3. Zimbabwe and Namibia are the two other countries that will join Nigeria in the World Group 2.
We did well in the first tie, so the second tie, when we lost 0-3, we had opportunities too at the tie break, 5-2 leading, and then we couldn't close the match. So it was very hurtful. Actually, I had it very rough that night.
Yeah, I promised I was going to get us to Group 3.
and I achieved that. This year, I made the same promise earlier because of the caliber of players I have in my team. I made that promise that I'm going to take them to Group 2, and thank God I've achieved that.
To athletics, just a few days to the start of the Paris Olympics, Nigeria's Toby Amusan capped off a good outing at the Holloway Pro Classic in Florida, finishing second in the women's 100-meter hurdles final with a time of 12.60. Toby got a poor start but flew over the hurdles, recovering well to nab second just behind US Grace Stark, who won in 12.58. It was US champion Marcia Russell who finished third in 12.66. Meanwhile, Nigeria's star girl Favour Ofili also ran to victory at the Holloway Pro Classic, winning both the 100 and 200 meters events. Ofili won the women's 100 meters, closing hard and edging out Candace Hill in a time of 11.07. After her 100-meter win, Ofili returned to track less than an hour later, winning the women's 200 meter in a time of 22.63. And finally, featherweight world champion Amanda Serrano stopped Stephen Morgan 38 seconds into round 2 in their light welterweight contest in Florida. Puerto Rican Serrano was due to fight Island undisputed world lightweight champion Katie Taylor to headline an event featuring a bout between YouTuber-turned boxer Jake Paul and 58-year-old former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
The administration of President Bola Tinubu has recorded some milestones in its efforts to deliver on the mandate given to him by Nigerians. Various policies and interventions have been designed and are being implemented to improve the lives of Nigerians in different sectors. Still with the NTA for an assessment of the strides of the administration in line with its renewed hope agenda on a new program, Executive Recap, on the NTA network, coming up tonight at 10:30 p.m. and every Sunday. Don't forget, tonight at 10:30 p.m. and every Sunday. And that's nationwide today, this rainy Sunday. Do keep warm in this weather. Good evening.